My husband of 8 years was cheating with my best friend, and they planned to take our house in the divorce, so I played along while destroying both their careers and their entire future. I never imagined my life would turn into one of those horror stories you read online, but here I am. My name is Emma, and I'm 34 years old. I work as a senior accountant at a mid-sized firm in Denver. My husband Tyler and I met in college when we were both 22. He was studying civil engineering while I was working on my accounting degree. We were introduced by mutual friends at a campus party and hit it off immediately. Tyler was charming and ambitious back then. He talked about building bridges and designing infrastructure that would last for generations. I loved his passion and drive. We dated throughout our final 2 years of college and got married 6 months after graduation. Those early years were wonderful. We were both starting our careers, living in a tiny apartment, and dreaming about our future together. We bought our first house 5 years ago in a nice suburban neighborhood. It was a beautiful 4-bedroom colonial with a big backyard. Tyler had got a great job at a prominent engineering firm and was doing well. I had been promoted to senior accountant at my company. We were financially comfortable and talking about starting a family soon. My best friend Rachel had been in my life since high school. We went to different colleges but stayed close, talking on the phone regularly and visiting each other during breaks. After college, she moved to Denver for work, which made me incredibly happy. She worked in human resources for a large corporation downtown. Having her nearby felt like having a piece of home with me. Rachel was single for most of the time I knew her. She dated here and there but never found anyone serious. She would often joke about being the perpetual third wheel with Tyler and me. We included her in everything: dinners, weekend trips, game nights. She was like family to us. Tyler always said he was glad I had such a good friend in the city. About a year ago, I started noticing small changes in Tyler's behavior. He was coming home later from work, saying he had project deadlines. He started going to the gym more frequently, which I initially thought was great for his health. He bought new clothes and seemed more concerned about his appearance. When I mentioned these changes, he said he just wanted to take better care of himself. Rachel also seemed different around the same time. She was less available for our usual coffee dates and girls' nights. When we did meet up, she seemed distracted, always checking her phone. She started asking weird questions about my marriage, like whether Tyler and we're still happy. Or if we ever talked about divorce, I brushed it off thinking she was just curious or maybe projecting her own desire for a relationship. Tyler's phone habits changed dramatically. He used to leave his phone lying around the house, but suddenly it was always with him. He put a passcode on it, claiming it was for work security reasons. He started taking calls in other rooms or outside, saying they were boring work conversations. Red flags were popping up everywhere, but I didn't want to believe what they might mean. Around 6 months ago, Tyler announced he needed to attend a weekend engineering conference in Seattle. He seemed excited about it and talked about networking opportunities. The weekend he was supposed to be gone, Rachel told me she was visiting her sister in Portland. I thought it was a coincidence that they were both traveling to the Pacific Northwest at the same time. That Sunday evening, Tyler came home with stories about the conference and all the new techniques he learned. Rachel returned Monday night with photos of her sister's new baby. Everything seemed normal on the surface, but something felt off. I couldn't put my finger on it, but my gut was telling me something was wrong. 2 months ago, I discovered the truth in the most mundane way possible. I was doing laundry and found a receipt in Tyler's pants pocket. It was from a jewelry store for a necklace costing $800. My birthday had passed months ago, and our anniversary wasn't for several more months. I remember Tyler had been at that supposed Seattle conference around the date on the receipt. My hands were shaking as I realized what this might mean. I checked our credit card statements online and found charges I didn't recognize. There were hotel bookings in Seattle, expensive dinners, flowers from online retailers, all around the same time periods when Tyler claimed to be working late or at business meetings. I needed proof before confronting anyone. I'm an accountant, so I know how to follow money trails. I created a detailed spreadsheet tracking all suspicious charges over the past year. The pattern was clear and damning. Every time Tyler claimed to work late, there were restaurant charges across town. Every supposed business trip matched up with unexplained expenses. But I still didn't know who the other woman was until 3 weeks ago. Tyler left his laptop open while he went to shower. I know it was wrong, but I looked through his email. What I found destroyed me. There were hundreds of emails between Tyler and Rachel going back over a year. They weren't even trying to hide it in the emails, discussing how much they loved each other, making plans for their future together, laughing about how clueless I was. The emails revealed everything. They had started their affair at a company mixer where Rachel's company was partnering with Tyler's firm. They had been meeting up regularly, spending weekends together when they told me separate lies. The Seattle trip was real for both of them. They had gone together. The necklace was for her. But the worst part was reading their plans for the future. They were discussing divorce strategy. Tyler had consulted with a lawyer friend about how to structure things so he could keep the house. Since we lived in a no-fault divorce state, he figured he could claim irreconcilable differences and push for keeping the house since his job was more stable than mine. Rachel was encouraging this, saying they deserved to start their life together in a nice house rather than starting over. They even joked about my reaction when I found out. Tyler wrote about how I would probably cry and beg him to stay, but he was done with our boring marriage. Rachel wrote about how she felt guilty at first, but got over it because she and Tyler were meant to be together. Reading those words from my husband and my best friend felt like being stabbed repeatedly. I sat there in shock, reading email after email. They discussed everything, from their first kiss to detailed plans about me moving out. Tyler complained about having to pretend to love me while planning his exit. Rachel wrote about how hard it was to comfort me when I was stressed about work, knowing she was sleeping with my husband. That night, I didn't confront Tyler. I acted completely normal. My mind was racing with rage and hurt, but I kept it together. I realized that if I confronted them now, I would lose my advantage. They had been planning this for months, trying to position things in their favor. I decided I needed my own plan. The next morning, I called in sick to work and went to see a divorce attorney. I brought my spreadsheet of expenses and printed copies of the emails. The attorney, Patricia, was a sharp woman in her 50s who had seen everything. She looked through my evidence and nodded approvingly. She said I had done good work documenting everything. Patricia explained that while Colorado is a no-fault state, infidelity could still impact asset division, especially when it involved financial deception. All those charges Tyler made for his affair could be considered dissipation of marital assets. The fact that he was planning to manipulate the divorce proceedings showed bad faith. She said we could use this to my advantage. We developed a strategy. I would continue acting normal while Patricia prepared all the paperwork. We would document everything, get all our ducks in a row, and then hit them with everything at once. Patricia also suggested I hire a private investigator to gather additional evidence. The emails were good, but photos and video would seal the deal. I hired an investigator named James who came highly recommended. I gave him all the information I had about Tyler and Rachel's patterns. Within a week, James had extensive photo and video evidence of them together, meeting at hotels, kissing in parking lots, holding hands at restaurants across town. The evidence was irrefutable and damning. But I wanted more than just a favorable divorce. These two people had betrayed me in the worst possible way and were planning to profit from it. I wanted them to lose more than just me. I wanted consequences that would actually impact their lives. I started digging into their professional lives. Tyler worked for Morrison Engineering, a firm that prided itself on family values and ethical behavior. Their employee handbook explicitly stated that affairs between employees and business partners violated their ethics code. Rachel's company had merged with Morrison's parent company 6 months ago, making them technically part of the same corporate structure. This was perfect. I gathered all the documentation about their affair, including the emails where they discuss meeting during work hours and using company resources to facilitate the relationship. Tyler had mentioned using his corporate credit card for some of their dinners, claiming them as client meetings. Rachel had helped him manipulate some HR paperwork. They had basically been conducting their affair on company time and dime. I also discovered something interesting in Rachel's social media. She had been posting inspirational quotes about her career and professional growth. She was up for a major promotion to Director of Human Resources for the entire merged company. This promotion would come with a huge salary increase and relocation to the company headquarters in Chicago. The decision was being made in about 2 weeks. Tyler was also up for a promotion to Senior Project Manager, which would put him in charge of major infrastructure projects across the state. His review was scheduled for next month. Both of them were so close to their career goals, completely unaware that I knew everything. Over the next week, I played the perfect unsuspecting wife. I smiled when Tyler came home, asked about his day, even suggested we plan a vacation together. He seemed relieved that I wasn't suspicious, becoming more relaxed around me. Rachel and I had lunch twice, where she listened to me talk about wanting to have a baby soon. She nodded sympathetically while texting Tyler under the table. I could see her phone's screen reflection in the restaurant window. The hardest part was pretending everything was fine when I wanted to scream at both of them. But I kept thinking about my end goal. Patricia reminded me that revenge is a dish best served cold, and she was right. Every fake smile, every normal conversation was an investment in their complete downfall. I created anonymous email accounts and compiled everything. Photos, videos, emails, financial records showing misuse of company resources. I prepared separate packages for Tyler's boss, Rachel's boss, and the ethics department of their merged parent company. Patricia reviewed everything to make sure I wasn't doing anything legally questionable. She said I was simply providing factual information to interested parties. 10 days ago, I executed my plan. I sent all the evidence to both their company's ethics departments with detailed timelines. I sent copies to their direct supervisors. I even sent a package to the board member who was making the final decision on Rachel's promotion. Each package was professionally organized with a cover letter explaining how 2 employees had been conducting an affair using company time and resources. That same day, I had Patricia serve Tyler with divorce papers at his office. The papers detailed every affair-related expense and requested full reimbursement to the marital estate. We were asking for the house, my car, and 70% of all other assets based on his dissipation of marital funds and fraud. The papers included excerpts from his emails discussing his strategy to take the house from me. I also sent Rachel a message through a mutual friend's phone, letting her know that I knew everything and that I had sent all evidence to her employer. I wanted her to know it was me who destroyed her career advancement, not some random exposure. The fallout was spectacular. Tyler called me within an hour of being served, screaming and crying. I didn't answer. He sent dozens of texts begging to talk, promising to explain everything, saying I was overreacting. I blocked his number. He showed up at my office, but security removed him after I told them I had a restraining order pending. Rachel tried calling and texting too. She sent long messages about how she never meant to hurt me, how it just happened, how they fell in love and couldn't help themselves. She actually tried to blame me, saying I had become too focused on my career and Tyler felt neglected. I blocked her everywhere without responding. The professional consequences hit them both within 2 days. Tyler was placed on immediate administrative leave, pending an investigation into misuse of company resources. His promotion was canceled. Rachel's promotion was not only denied, but she was also placed under investigation by HR, the delicious irony of the HR director being investigated by her own department. Within a week, both of them were fired. Tyler's company found extensive evidence of him charging personal expenses to his corporate card and lying about client meetings. They considered it fraud and threatened legal action if he didn't resign immediately. Rachel's company found she had violated multiple ethics policies and had been involved in manipulating HR records to help Tyler. She was terminated for cause, which meant no severance package. The gossip spread through both companies like wildfire. Everyone in their professional circles now knew why they were fired. Tyler tried explaining it away as a misunderstanding, but too many people had seen the evidence. Rachel completely disappeared from social media after angry former colleagues started commenting on her posts about professional integrity. Tyler tried fighting the divorce terms, but his lawyer advised him to settle. With all the evidence of his affair and financial misconduct, a judge would likely side with me anyway. He ended up agreeing to let me keep the house, my car, and 65% of our other assets. He also had to pay my legal fees. The man who planned to manipulate me out of my home ended up losing almost everything. Last week, Tyler showed up at the house one final time to get his remaining belongings. He looked terrible, unshaven, exhausted, defeated. He tried one more time to talk to me, saying we both made mistakes and asking if there was any chance of reconciliation. I told him the only mistake I made was trusting him and wasting 8 years of my life on someone so worthless. He left crying. Rachel moved back to her hometown in Iowa. I heard through mutual friends that she's working as a receptionist at a dental office, unable to find another HR position because of her termination for cause. The director position she wanted would have paid 6 figures and relocated her to Chicago. Instead, she's making minimum wage in a small town where everyone knows what she did. Tyler is living in a tiny apartment and working as a contractor for a small firm that doesn't do background checks. The job pays less than half what he made before. He lost his professional reputation, his network, and any chance of advancement in his field. The big infrastructure projects he dreamed of managing will never happen now. I'm still in our house, the same house he planned to take from me. I got a promotion at work last month. Turns out that when you're not being emotionally drained by a cheating spouse, you have more energy for your career. I've started seeing a therapist to process everything, and I'm doing okay. Some days are harder than others, but mostly I feel relief. The best part is knowing that they can't even be together properly now. Their great love story that was worth destroying a marriage and a friendship has turned into mutual poverty and resentment. I've heard they're still together, but constantly fighting about money and blaming each other for how everything turned out. Tyler apparently resents Rachel for encouraging him to be aggressive about the divorce, and Rachel resents Tyler for the affair being exposed in a way that destroyed her career. My family and friends have been incredibly supportive. When everyone learned the truth, they cut off both Tyler and Rachel completely. Tyler's own parents apologized to me and said they were ashamed of their son. Several of Rachel's relatives reached out to say they couldn't believe she would do something so cruel. I've learned that revenge doesn't have to be loud or dramatic. Sometimes the best revenge is simply exposing the truth and letting consequences happen naturally. Tyler and Rachel destroyed themselves. I just made sure the right people knew what they had done. They wanted to build their future on my pain and loss, but instead, they built nothing but ruins. People ask if I regret how I handled things or if I feel guilty about their career destruction. I don't. They made choices knowing the risks. They laughed about deceiving me while planning to take my home. They deserve every single consequence they're facing. Sometimes people need to learn that actions have consequences, and betrayal comes with a price. I'm moving forward with my life now. The house is being redecorated to remove any trace of Tyler. I'm planning a trip to Europe with some friends this summer. I'm even cautiously open to dating again eventually, though I'm taking my time. This experience taught me that I'm stronger than I thought, and that I don't need anyone who doesn't truly value me. The divorce will be finalized next month. Tyler is still trying to negotiate the terms, but my attorney shuts him down every time. He made his choices, and now he gets to live with them. As for Rachel, I never want to see or hear from her again. The friendship we had died the moment she decided my husband was worth more than our bond. I'm not the same person I was a year ago. That naive woman who trusted completely and loved unconditionally is gone. The new version of me is wiser, stronger, and unwilling to tolerate betrayal. Maybe that's sad in some ways, but it's also empowering. I know my worth now, and I'll never again let anyone make me feel less than I am. Tyler and Rachel wanted their happy ending at my expense. Instead, they got exactly what they deserved. Nothing but the ashes of the lives they burned down themselves. My mother-in-law demanded we get a paternity test, so now she's not allowed to hold the baby. I, 28 female, gave birth to my first child, a beautiful baby girl, 3 weeks ago. My husband, 30 male, and I have been over the moon, but his mother has been causing non-stop drama. She never liked me. From the start, she made snide comments about how I trapped her son. Even though we've been happily married for 4 years. When I got pregnant, she constantly joked about how the baby might not be his. I brushed it off as her usual passive-aggressive behavior until I found out she took it way further. 2 days after I gave birth, my husband got a text from his mom saying, "You should get a DNA test. You never know these days." I was devastated when I saw it. My husband was furious and told her off, saying he had zero doubts about me and that her comment was disgusting. She tried to backtrack, saying she was just looking out for him. Now she wants to come over and meet the baby. But I told my husband that she will not be holding our daughter. She cannot have it both ways. If she wants to question whether my child is even her grandchild, then she doesn't get the privilege of bonding with her. My husband understands why I'm upset, but he thinks we should let her come just once so she doesn't play the victim with the rest of the family. Now she's crying to everyone saying I'm keeping her granddaughter from her, and that I'm punishing her over a harmless question. Some family members think I'm being dramatic and should be the bigger person. But why should I let someone who disrespected me and my child hold her like nothing happened? Am I the a-hole for refusing to let her hold my baby? And there is an update. Well, I wish I could say things got better, but mother-in-law made sure that didn't happen. After my husband told her off, I thought she'd at least try to apologize, but instead she doubled down. She started calling my husband, telling him I was turning him against his own mother, and that I was overreacting to a simple question. She even pulled the classic victim act, crying to the rest of the family about how I was keeping her grandbaby from her. Then things took a ridiculous turn. I found out from my sister-in-law that mother-in-law was actually trying to get a DNA test done behind our backs. Apparently she was hoping to get a strand of my baby's hair or some spit to confirm the truth. When my sister-in-law told me I was absolutely done. I told my husband that until she apologizes, not a fake "I'm sorry you're mad" apology, but a real one, she's not welcome around me or my daughter. Thankfully, my husband backed me up 100%. He told his mother that if she can't respect his wife and child, then she doesn't deserve to be a part of our lives. Mother-in-law lost it. She went full drama mode, telling everyone I was tearing the family apart and that she might not ever recover from this heartbreak. At this point, I don't even care. She disrespected me, she disrespected my marriage, and she disrespected my child. Actions have consequences, so yeah. Mother-in-law still hasn't met the baby, and unless she does some serious apologizing and self-reflection, she won't be anytime soon. Am I the a-hole? And there are some relevant comments. Graphite57 says, for one, it wasn't a harmless question if a person was harmed by it. I wouldn't be allowing her near the child because at some stage she will gather enough genetic material to do a quiet DNA test to make sure. Nothing harmful there, dear. Let her play the victim, but the moment any family member comments, point out that she has already expressed doubt, that the child is in fact her grandchild, so what's the problem? Not the a-hole. Commercial East 302 says exactly a question isn't harmless if it causes harm. And honestly, I wouldn't put it past her to secretly collect DNA just to verify things on her own. She already doubts her grandchild's paternity. Why should she get the privilege of being close to her? And there is an update. Well, I wish I could say things got better, but nope. My mother-in-law has somehow managed to make things worse. After I refused to let her hold my baby, she went on a full-blown smear campaign against me. She told the extended family that I was controlling and keeping her granddaughter away out of spite. She conveniently left out the part where she accused me of cheating and demanded a DNA test. The worst part? My husband is starting to waver. He still thinks what she said was disgusting. But now that some relatives are siding with her and saying I'm being too harsh, he's wondering if we should just let her see the baby once and move on. I told them point blank. She questioned our child's paternity. She disrespected me. And by extension, you and your daughter. If we let this slide, what's next? Now he's torn. I can tell he wants to back me up, but he also doesn't want to be the bad guy in his family's eye. I don't care about being the villain in mother-in-law's story, but I do care about my husband having my back. So now I'm wondering, am I fighting a losing battle here? Is this the hill I should pass away on? Because right now it feels like mother-in-law is winning by playing the victim. And I'm the one being treated like the unreasonable one. Relevant comments. She was hoping to get a strand of baby's hair or some spit to confirm the truth. So if her truth is that the baby isn't your husband's, why does she care if you're keeping her granddaughter away from her? And that I'm punishing her over a harmless question. If her truth is that it's not his kid, then it's not her grandchild. She can't have it both ways. I would so be saying that to every flying monkey. Mother-in-law is convinced I cheated on a husband, and it's not his baby, therefore she believes it's not her granddaughter. So by her truth, I'm not keeping her from her granddaughter because according to her, our baby isn't her granddaughter. She can't have it both ways. Commercial East 302, exactly. She either believes she's not related and shouldn't care, or she knows she was full of it from the start and just wanted to stir the pot. Either way, I'm not playing into her nonsense. And that is the end of that story. This is textbook how to shut down crap. Yeah. In your family, I agree. Op was just like, you were telling lies about me so you can't see your granddaughter now. First step, got on the same page with your husband. Second step, talk to the problem. Third step, put boundaries up. That's going in the textbook. We should make a textbook. 101 ways to communicate. Or like you can think of the book name. I'll work on the title, it's like 101. But it's like 100 like it's each one is like how to ask out someone. It's like, if you have if it's from a dating app, do this. If you've been friends with them for years, do this. 101 ways to stay in a relationship. But they're all they are is every single one is just steps to take in order like this happens, do this. And it has a beautiful all you know what my favorite thing is, yeah. I put a table of context in my scrapbook for Angie. Yeah, it's so cute. That was my favorite thing to do. I love that. We should do that. Mother-in-law, how to deal with mother-in-laws for sure. And it has a bunch of if, ands, or whens in it. And they're all formula-based. Oh, this is so good. And then we make a part 2, 202 ways, 303 ways. They're like, all the sops we do. Yeah, it's just a book of that. It's just a book of sops. And we have videos. Our videos are links to each one of our YouTube things. Brilliant. And you just have QR codes. We can come up with ideas together and then you can write them well. And I can help with like all the little technical things and the layout. Dude, we're geniuses. But that was the end of that story.